Everybody, Cuthbert Langley joining you again. Nick Barris is off this week, taking a well-deserved holiday vacation. We're here with the sheriff answering any questions you may have. Give us a call. The number there at the bottom of your screen, 737+. We've been having a great conversation about the New Year holiday coming up, the Christmas holiday, and all the sorts of things the department is doing to really kind of curtail or keep down the amount of drunk driving we see and just kind of keeping a safer environment out there for folks. And we just had a good conversation off camera really about cell phones and how they have helped folks document crime, that sort of a thing. I mean, obviously we've got cell phones, but for some people it may not be the first instinct to take pictures, but that's probably some good advice to do if you're a victim of a crime.
Yeah, you know, we, and again, I think it's a generation, you know, I really do believe that younger people are much prepared, better prepared. That's where a lot of these videos come out, where there's wrongdoing, whether it's law enforcement or others. But yeah, one of the things that I think is very wise to do is if your house is broken into or you see a suspicious something, just pull the camera out. A friend of mine was at a grocery store recently, and there was a person in a vehicle doing something that seemed to be very inappropriate. And the reality of that is that she didn't automatically go to grab a camera and capture the time. And that's what really I wouldn't have done either, but younger people realize that that's really what that is. It's almost documenting the incident report. And so if your house is victimized or you're victimized, I really think it's a very good thing to capture your moments and your situation. And quite frankly, if any of that information can be used by law enforcement to help you get, whether it's your stuff back if it was stolen or to find what was going on in your community. And I mentioned earlier, but the International Chiefs of Police and the National Sheriff's Association really have worked hard with technology to come up with apps where you can just download it and so forth. But even if you're not interested in that yet, just capture it, because you would then have it. And I mean, you can zap it back and forth to each other, and you would have proof and evidence of what really happened. So it's just kind of getting yourself used to that. And if you're from my generation, that's really not the easiest thing to get used to, but I realize the value to it.
Absolutely. And I think I've seen more recently, I don't have the numbers of course, but home surveillance systems with cameras outside of homes, especially when you're leaving packages out on the front porch. That seems to really help kind of add another layer of documentation, so to speak.
Yeah, I was in around the office and a couple of folks, and they're walking down the hallway and they're showing, you know, literally front door, back door, what's going on with the house and how this is working. And I was teasing them about it, and I was saying, you know, it's just so much information that we all have, and to me, it's a peace of mind. I mean, it gives you peace of mind that your house is, and literally some of that video is obviously stored, and if something were to go on, and then using that to help solve what the real problem is the goal. So the technology is there, the equipment is there, and it's just, quite frankly, it's getting used to knowing that that's what you need to do, is capture the moment. I was watching the protest up in Chicago, the police and the public in protest a few weeks ago, and I was just watching, and I didn't have the volume turned up, so I don't know what was being said, but clearly, as everyone was protesting and marching, something occurred. I don't know who said what, and it looked like simultaneously, you know, 2/3 of the protesters pulled their camera out and start videoing what they. And I think that's good. It documents the events. You know, we may get away from he said, she said one day, because it's going to be who saw and who videoed what, you know. And so I think that's good. It's just using that equipment, using that information to help, you know, help solve the crime, or help, you know, improve what's going on, or help you feel better about your community.
Absolutely. A lot of people this year, I know, I have done almost all of my shopping on Amazon. So of course I come home and there are boxes outside of my house. Are there any tips or any suggestions on, you know, how to keep those packages safe, you know, from a law enforcement standpoint? You know, people can easily just come up and grab a box and leave.
You know, it's funny you said that. I'm not a shopper, but I'm interested in this whole concept. I'm really fascinated by it. I was talking to someone yesterday, and in his neighborhood, he lives in a kind of a neighborhood where there are many homes, and I don't really understand how or who came up with this, but what they do is they drop all their packages for the neighborhood off in like one of these big storage units, and then when you come home, they have someone there who works in the neighborhood deliver the packages, so they're not all left on your front porch. It's secure it's a secure storage area. But I was thinking the same thing. I mean, one of these days we're going to have to be aware that, and my bet is that one day there's someone who comes up with a way where that storage box can be pushed into your home, kind of like a doggy door in some way, where you can't, and then some way or another it's going to be secure in your home, but the bad guys can't get to it, because that's the next big thing, is come by your house and take the boxes and go. You don't hear a lot of that yet, but I saw a story where Cyber Monday, you know, I think trumped Black Friday on sales, and so it tells you everyone's moving away from going out and buying their products, and therefore it's delivered to your home. And I had someone show up at my house one day in the driveway, and I asked, I pulled in one day and I just said, "What are you doing?" or "Who are you?" I didn't know what was going on. And he just said, "I'm delivering a package," and it was in a regular vehicle. And I said, "Well, what are you delivering it from?" And he was showing it, and he was hired by someone to deliver. It wasn't a UPS or wasn't a
like a courier service.
Yeah, it
type.
makes you feel, it's just like you and I driving up someone's driveway and dropping off a box.
Especially once Amazon is doing the Amazon Now starting soon, and so they're going to be delivering, I think, in 1 hour or 2 hours, and I think they use. It's almost like Uber.
Right.
Amazon will just get these companies. I know they do it in Atlanta, and they're starting it in Nashville soon as well. So that'll be interesting too.
I have a business idea that I think would work.
All right,
we'll do that one other show.
Yeah, we'll go in on that. Coming up in 2016, obviously a lot of folks want to know, is the office, is the department hiring this year? How does that hiring process work for folks who might be interested?
Yeah, that's really good. We we hire really 3 classes a year, 3 times a year, as far as the start and graduations and so forth. And we are going to be looking for folks. I think we have a class in March and another one in July. You can go on to nashville.sheriff.net, and it'll be or .gov, I think, and you can find our site. And then we want to really encourage you to go online to do that. And we're always looking for folks. In law enforcement, we have support services that aren't necessarily law enforcement only, records and property and things like that aren't necessarily officer oriented, but always looking for really good people, and very proud of the organization that we have. But I think part of that's trying to find folks that are interested in coming to work for us. So yeah, we'd love to see that. We also have a lot going on, as was mentioned on the phone call, our future and our plans and where we're going to be. We hope the next 12 months that it becomes more solidified, and maybe we'll find a long-range home for the sheriff's office.
Absolutely, yeah. And looking forward to 2016, obviously the jail has been the big discussion, but what sorts of new projects, new initiatives are launching in 2016 that you can talk about?
We're doing a lot of programming that we do with the inmate population that's kind of, I think, very innovative. Working with the music industry, very interested. We do some songwriter programs where they come in and work with people who are incarcerated and really try to get them to deal with their issues, whether it's addiction, whether it's the anger management, or more the aggressive nature of their, trying to break down some of that. And what has been proven to work in California and some other places is having people communicate their internal issues via song or via performing arts, actually. And so it sounds kind of outside the box, but we work with a group called Beat of Life, and they come in and work with folks who are incarcerated, have them work to write their own story in song, and then that helps them get out some of the issues that they've been dealing with. And very fascinated with how that works, and we're going to see that grow, I think, over this year. We also have partnered with Emmylou Harris and Bonaparte's Retreat for an animal rescue program where we take animals that are about to be euthanized in animal control, and we take them into the facilities where the women are housed, and the women help train and obedience train the animals so they can be adopted. And then we believe it's teaching our own inmates kind of a responsibility and kind of a mothering, being a better mother as that relates to that. And so we have a big, that's going to grow. We're really working hard with Emmylou's group, and I think it's going to be a neat thing going forward. And always trying to arrest the problem, and the problem is rooted in addiction and mental health, and I think you'll hear a lot about the world of mental health over the next year as it relates to how we can deal with that better in our community as well. So a lot going on with trying to reduce the number of people that come into jail. That's what our goal is, to be honest. We may be the only group in the world trying to do away with our job. That's our goal.
Right.
Because there's better ways to spend that kind of money than to keep arresting people over and over again.
And such creative ways, too, to combat. It's not just bringing in programs and having people talk at the inmates, but it seems like a lot of connection and working together with them as well.
Yeah, I just I've always said it's like the mall. When I go to the mall, I really don't know why I went. I don't like to shop, but I go in looking for something, I come out with something else. It's not really why. I didn't know what I was doing. Most people who go inside the jail or the criminal justice system really don't have an idea of what brought them there. And when you break that down over time, sometimes in the system, I think it may be because of addiction, it may be because you're angry over how you were raised and the issues that related to that, and it may be mental health, and it may be a combination. But we need to provide the programs that allow some of that stuff to come out, and maybe we can arrest the problem. The problem is usually rooted in something like that, but it's like me going to the mall. I don't know why I came, and I don't know why I came home with something else, but we need to get down to the bottom, to the bottom of it and figure that out, and instead of confusing people with sitting in a classroom teaching them something that doesn't work.
Right, absolutely. And that kind of brings up the point, again, the community relationship, between law enforcement and the community. I think the story of 2015 really has been strained relations, and it's got to be really important for you guys to continue to put a foot out in the community.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, I was at a group Friday night, and I was saying how difficult it is to kind of be in law enforcement right now, because there is the image issues and kind of the relationship. And I think I walked out of the house this morning, and the thing I heard was Shop with a Cop is going on today, and programs that are going on like that. And I was just thinking about how maybe this year more than ever, we all need to be, working to try to bridge the gap between the community and police, and that's all over the country. It's everywhere, and so we need to clean up our own business and get law enforcement organized, and hopefully the community, and we can all come together and have a much better 16.
Absolutely. Well, we have touched on a lot of great things today. Of course, the Sober Ride program, just to rehash again, for New Year's or anyone around the holidays, it's going to be 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Yeah, 2nd and Church Street downtown. If you're going for the New Year's, it's a great program, free of charge. They don't ask any questions. They'll take you home wherever you need to go. We also, had a lot of talk about how to, how policing all the hundreds of thousands of people that are going to be here. Lots of things to look forward to this year.
All right, it should be a great night, and hopefully a kickoff to a great 16.
Absolutely. Well, Sheriff, thanks so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you as well.
We are going to be right back after this. Stay tuned.